So again, this will be the supposed this will be the supposed first session ng domain number 3, MCQ number 5 para sa batch number 2. For batch number 1, tapos na po natin ito na process, and this will be the second round na ng mga questions na ito para sa inyo. And it is expected that hopefully ay may mga naiwan na po sa atin at may mga concepts na na kumbaga we can build upon pagdating po ng examination. So ang gagawin po natin ngayon will be, una ay ipaprocess muna natin, ibibigay muna natin yung ating ano ba yung laman nitong si domain number 3. Ano bang laman ni domain number 3? Alright. Again, reminder, our mock number 2, our second mock, ay magyayari po by January 29. Same place, same time. Yung ating venue po ay sa Greystone Institute, second floor, room amethyst po yun, para sa mga kwan. And madali lang po siyang hanapin. Mayroon pong parking area doon sa loob, pero I do not know yung capacity niya, dahil may mga nawala po last time and they're claiming na nahirapan sila na maghanap ng parking area. Pero kung motor lang naman po ang dala nyo, ay kayang-kaya. Except lamang yung kapag 4 wheels, meron din naman, pero on a limited capacity po yung Sa harap lang po ito ng Asada Center. Kung mahilig po kayong bumili ng mga pizza kay Angel's Pizza, nandun kay Asada Center yon. And yung katabi lang po niya na building or harapan na building, nandun po yung Greystone Institute. Para sa mga hindi pa po naka-attend. Alright? Alright, sige. Ang focus po natin will be domain number 3. Karamihan ng mga tanong po ngayon ay nakaangkla kay domain number 3. So I'm going to present muna lahat ng mga important strands. Tingnan muna natin yung mga strands na kabilang dito kay domain number 3. Okay, so nakikita na po yung aking screen. Nakikita na po ba? Paki-confirm, Ma'am Luz, nakikita na
yes po, sir. Nakikita po, sir.
Sige, thank you. I-reading view ko lang. Babalikan lang po natin ng itong domain number 3, focusing on the teaching and learning. So basically ito yung isa sa pinakamarami ng mga tanong in the different strands ay dito po magfo-fall kay domain number 3. Ayan. So we have ayan. Ano ba yung PPSSH guiding principles? Lagi nating binabanggit ito. Lagi po itong pinapaulit-ulit para sa lahat, because these are the principles that govern the entire doctrine of the PPSSH. And if you're going to look at the different principles, sigurado po yan na the understanding of these different principles ay will lead to yung better na pagsagot doon sa ating mga tanong. Kagaya ng nabanggit ko the last time and paulit-ulit na that ang pagsagot ng tanong ay dalawang lens ang gagamitin natin. We have the moral lens and then the legal lens. However, mauuna palagi yung legal. Kung may legal basis yan, automatic, the legal basis will stand. But if in case na wala naman na direct na pagkukuhanan ng legal basis, then ito ay magbabase doon sa what is morally right doon sa ating mga choices. And the morally right na mga choices po natin ay syempre pabalikan natin itong mga different guiding principles. Una, lahat po ng mga strands ay palaging learner-centered po yan. Ano pong ibig sabihin pag sinabi natin na learner-centered? Whatever are the improvements, innovations, and whatever are the programs that are being implemented, palagi po ito na ang pinaka main output niya ay isang learner-centered. na klase ng mga developmental processes. Lahat ng mga ginagawa natin will redound to the improvement of the learners. No? Tinrain mo ang teacher, ang output nito dapat ay learner center. Ang output nito dapat ay magkakaroon ka ng improvement ng mga learners. Tinrain mo ang school head eventually ay magiging better manager para sa kanyang school at ang pinaka main output nito ay magkaroon ng improvement, no, yung ating mga learners. Nagkaroon ng lahat ng mga programs, no, essentially lahat ng mga programs ay kailangan ang pinaka magbe-benefit ay ang ating mga learners. Okay? So emphasizes on building and strengthening a network of stakeholders for school and people effectiveness. So ang emphasis po nito will be on the yung network of stakeholders or the strengthening ng ating school community partnership, reflecting the understanding of problems and issues at the school and the needs to address them. Okay? So dito naman ang pinaka nito will be this will be relative to the SIP or the strategic planning na ginagawa po natin in our school, and it focuses also on developing high quality instruction, developing a strong culture, and ensuring job embedded professional development for school personnel. Okay. Ano pa? It reflects on values and concepts important in promoting the school success. Kaya nga lahat po yan, no? Lahat ng mga different domains na yan ay naka-angkla, no? Dun sa values and concepts that will promote school success. It regards supervision as a crucial organizational behavior on school management. No? Supervision and being the primary, no? How do you call that? Yung task, no, to be performed by the school head is the crucial organizational behavior in school management. Whatever kind of supervision would that be, whether it will be a direct supervision or indirect supervision, lahat po ito ay parte, no, ng ating development of the organizational behavior. Highlights of the importance of accountability and transparency of school heads, and it will be anchored on the principles of inclusivity. Ito yung mga different principles po ng ating PPSSH. Under domain number 3, domain number 3 dapat ito. Focusing on the teaching and learning. Ito po yung mga important points, no, ng nakalagay po sa ating PPSSH. Una, it concentrates on the work of school heads in promoting quality teaching and learning. No? Ang pinaka number 1 po na magli-lead in terms of the promotion of quality teaching learning ay ang school head, no. Of course, secondary yun, yung support ng ating mga pero ang magli-lead po talaga niyan ay ang school head. Kahit na saan mo anggulo tignan yan, whether it is a TA provided by the division office through the PSDS, still ang pinaka number 1 pa rin na may responsibility in such kind of ay ang school head. Emphasizes the school head's commitment in providing instructional leadership towards improving competence among teachers and outcomes among learners. So the reason why yung commitment niya ng school head to develop teachers ay ang pinaka-aim nito ay ang development ng ating mga learners. So when we train, kaya nga sabi nga ng PPSSH, when you train the school head for effective school management, kailangan maramdaman ito ng mga teachers. Kapag naramdaman ito ng mga teachers, kailangan ang mga teachers din naman ay mai-translate, no, itong ginagawang mga effective school management practices papunta naman doon sa improvement ng ating mga learners. In an ideal world, kapag sumasagot po kasi tayo ng examination, lagi ang ideal scenario ang tinitingnan mo, no? Huwag kang titingin doon sa what is practical. Kasi sometimes what is practical will bypass, no, yung what is ideal. Kaya nga pag sumasagot ka, ang tinitingnan mo, ano ba yung ideal na kailangan mong sagutin? Okay. Kaya nga, nire-remind ko po palagi na kapag sumasagot ka ng exam, syempre kung ang tinitingnan mo kung ano yung nagiging practice mo sa school, pero hindi naman ito yung ideal na dapat na gawin, then nagkakaroon na tayo ng wrong standard. No? Kaya nga, importante na kapag sumasagot ka, what is ideal, what is moral, yun ang tinitingnan po natin. Alright? School heads are expected to provide technical assistance on instruction that relates to curriculum, practice, and performance. And school heads should create a learner-centered environment that ensures access to inclusive, excellent, relevant, and liberating education. And mga important points po ng ating domain number 3. Now, under domain number 3 pa rin po, ay ito yung mga specific strands. Kaya kung makikita po natin, ay meron po tayong, 8, no? 8 specific na strands, no, na kailangan po ninyong tignan. Isa ito sa pinakamarami, no, na strand ng domain number 3. Una, ang strand 3.1 niya ay school-based review, contextualization, and implementation of the different learning standards. So we know for a fact that the curriculum guide contains the learning standards that are supposed to be implemented or that are supposed to be developed. Ang mga learning standards po na ito ay ang mga specific na competencies. Mga nilalaman po nito yung mga competencies na kailangan na matutunan ng mga bata across different subjects. At ano yung role ng school head, no, para sa development and the implementation nitong mga learning standards na yan, ay kailangan ay magkaroon tayo ng understanding of the different. Kaya nga, hindi necessarily na alam mo yung mga details ng bawat subject. Pero dapat alam mo yung generic, no, yung the pedagogical approaches na kailangan na itutok sa ating mga teachers pagdating sa development ng mga learning standards. Paano mo ito gagawin? Ayan, no, nakalagay, school-based review and contextualization. No? Kaya nga, bilang school head, alam natin na hindi mo naman master lahat ng mga subjects eh. Hindi mo naman master lang ang lahat ng mga subjects. Pero ano ang hinihingi sa iyo? Anong hinihingi sa iyo? Lalong-lalo na kapag ka nasa high school level na medyo higher learning na yung mga subjects na nakalagay. Ang hinihiling sa atin ay yung general perspective on how we can be able to provide technical assistance on contextualization, pedagogical approaches, yan. Nakasama po yan doon sa ating 3.1. 3.2 naman ay ang teaching standards and pedagogies that are related to 3.2 pa rin. Ano ba yung mga tinitignan natin ng mga pedagogical approaches? Ang pinaka-primary na pedagogical approach na ina-advocate po ngayon natin ay yung tinatawag natin na constructivism, no? Constructivist approach. Building up principle. So, constructivism, building up principle, ito yung number 1 na tinitingnan natin, no? Or number 1 ito na pedagogical approach na we need to implement. No? We need to implement. Teacher performance feedback, kasama na din yung ating kasama na dito yung ating how do you call that, yung the provision of the technical assistance, no, para sa ating mga teachers, and yung instructional supervision na tinitingnan po natin. Learner achievement and other performance indicators. Learning assessment. Ang strand 3.5, napakalaki pong parte, no, ng ating pagiging school head ay ang pag-provide, no, ng iba't ibang learning assessment technicalities, if that would be, yung we can be able to ensure that all teachers will be providing quality instructional assessment. All teachers will be able to provide the necessary applicable approaches in the process of assessment, yung learning assessment na tinatawag natin. Learning environment, career of awareness and opportunities, and the learner discipline. Ang learner discipline naman, ang tutukan nyo po dito yung positive discipline, no? Yung tinatawag po natin na PDET, positive discipline in everyday teaching. Kung merong isang konsepto na gusto ko na tutukan po ninyo for strand 3.8 ay yung material na yon. I have already provided that in your group chat. Kaya pwede nyo pong tignan doon kung ano ba yung laman, yung learner discipline, particularly for positive discipline. Kung wala naman at hindi nyo na makita or medyo natabunan na, you can always download it from the net. Yung PDET, no, the positive discipline in everyday teaching. At meron namang DepEd order ito, no, na nag-create nila. Okay? So ito po yung domain number 3. No? Ito po yung mga laman ng ating focusing on the teaching and learning. All right? So let's now proceed with our yung ating mga questions, no? Ayan, so dumadami po tayo. May 9 na po na nakapasok sa ating link. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Tingnan po natin ang item number 1. Alright. Sige, ano ba yung laman ng ating item number 1? Okay. Sorry. Mali itong aking na-open. Ayan. Alright. Ang domain number 1 po na, ang ating pong question number 1 ay may kinalaman po dito yung ating definition ng tinatawag natin na curriculum. So, question number 1 po natin will be on okay. You know how?
It's not coming. The number's not coming all.
The remote should be within yung remote doon sa may block sa baba. There. Okay? Alright? Sige. Ito yung definition po ng ating yung tinatawag po natin na curriculum. So for number 1 po, which of the following refers to all the educational experiences students go through in school, what students are expected to learn, and how the lessons are taught. So this is the very definition po ng tinatawag natin na curriculum. So ang curriculum is not only a reflection of the topics that are supposed to be developed or supposed to be discussed. Ang curriculum ay binubuo ng the different educational experiences, not only with the topics but at the same time the different yung mga pedagogical approaches, the different learning activities, the different learning assessment ay kasama po doon sa tinatawag po natin na curriculum. So for number 1, ang sagot po natin dito ay letter C. Okay? Next, number 2, which of the following is a learning environment that does not create fairness?
Letter D.
Letter, Sergio?
Letter D, sir.
Appreciates that strengths and the resources of all students. Not create, sir, not. Pag sinabi po natin na not creating fairness, it should be something na negative. We're looking for something negative. Anyone po? Sir Joe, sabi niya letter D. Hindi po, sir. Hindi po. Anyone?
Letter B, sir.
B, sir. B.
Okay.
All learners kasi.
Sorry, sir. Mali pala yung pagkadinig ko. Letter B pala, yeah. Letter B. Recognizes that all learners can learn at the same time. So it's a violation of the individual differences. It's a violation of yung inclusivity principles. Yan. So hindi po ito fair because everybody individually ay mayroong kanya-kanyang level of understanding and yung pacing ng kanilang learning. So negative po ang letter B, and that's for number 2. Which of the following, number 3, must be strictly observed in writing test items?
Objectives.
Ayan, no? Tama, no? Congruence to the objectives, no? Yan, congruence to the objectives. Kailangan, kapag ikaw ay gumagawa ng test items, bilang school head, isa din ito na kailangan natin na tignan. It should be part of how we can be able to provide TA para sa ating mga teachers on how they can provide yung quality, instructional assessment process. And that will be to ensure na yung ating mga test items ay congruent dun sa level ng objectives na binibigay. Alam nyo, karamihan ng problema dito ng mga teachers, This has been part of the research na kinandak ko for how many times na. Ang consistent po yung lumalabas eh. Ang mga teachers ay gumagawa po ng mga test items that are not congruent to the objectives. What is more disturbing, no, is that teachers are creating or developing test materials that are not really substantial, no, doon sa objectives na dinevelop po nila. Ibig sabihin po off tangent. So, nagtataka po bakit tayo laging nagkakaproblema pagdating sa mga national or international examinations. Because our school level test materials are not at par with the national and international questions. So, doon po nagkakaroon tayo ng problema. Okay? And that's one thing, no, na we need to provide as TA sa mga teachers po natin. Congruence to the objectives. Pag gumawa ng test material, it should be congruent to the objectives. Ang objective po niya halimbawa ay simple recall, yung hinihingi. Pero ang ibinigay ay difficult question. Mas maganda pa yon kesa sa yung higher order thinking, yung competency, pero ang ibinigay ay mga recall questions, mga ganyan. And karamihan, pagka hindi nyo na po nakita lahat yan, makikita po ninyo yung mga teachers ninyo ay gumagawa ng mga test materials that are more on the recall. So wala nang opportunity for higher order thinking na klase ng mga questions. Okay? So that's for number 3, letter A. Number 4, career development. Ito po yung nakapaloob sa ating PPST, yung definition po ng tinatawag natin na global competence. Anong ibig sabihin po ng global competence? Having an open mind, actively seeking to understand cultural norms.
Letter A, sir.
Yeah, letter A po. Tama yan. No? Ang letter A po ay definition ng global competence. Saan po natin ito makikita? Ang global competence ay nakadefine po sa ating mismong PPST. No? Again, the PPST ay para po sa ating mga teachers. PPSSH naman ay para po sa ating mga school heads. So, global competence, having an open mind, actively seeking to understand cultural norms of other, interacting, communicating, and working effectively outside one's environment. Number 5. Which of the following is the task of an instructional leader? Alin po dyan yung task ng isang instructional leader? Sir Ricardo? Sir Beltran, nandyan ka po, sir?
Yes, sir. Ito ako. Letter B.
Letter B, correct. Tama po yung si Sir Ricardo. Letter B po, ang instructional leader is to ensure quality instruction, quality of the instruction, modeling teaching practice, supervising curriculum, and ensuring quality of teaching resources. Alright? Kasama po yan. Kumbaga, it has already defined the entirety of the what do you mean by an instructional leader. Okay? Number 6, in what way shall the curriculum be learner-centered?
Prioritize the needs and interests of learners.
Yan, correct. No? So number 6 po ay letter B, prioritize the needs and the interests of the learners. Correct. Ayan, yan po yung definition niya. Kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng tinatawag po natin na learner-centered na curriculum. Actually, positive naman halos lahat. The only difference is that ano nga ba yung pinaka-link no, nung ating statement number 6 with the correct answer, which is letter B. Siyempre, yung learner-centered will have to be related no, doon sa individuality ng ating mga learners. Okay? For number 6 po ay letter B. Number 7, Principal Y wanted the curriculum to be relevant, responsive, and research-based. How can Principal Y attain such?
Apply learning theories in teaching learning process.
Come again, Sir Joe?
Letter A, sir.
Letter A is correct. No? Apply learning theories in
Teaching
the
learning
teaching
process.
learning process. Yeah. So, curriculum to be relevant, responsive, and research-based. No? So, pag sinabi natin na research-based, it has to be relative no dun sa mga learning theories. Yan. So that's kaya nga although ang BCD ay positive statements no. Like say for example letter B, choose the appropriate learning materials para mong sasabihin na okay din naman. No? Letter C naman, integrate values education across learning areas. Positive din naman. No? Learning facilities shall be properly maintained. These are all positive statements. The only variation that between all the different choices to what is the possible correct answer will be ano ba yung hinahanap mo in the statement. So curriculum that is relevant, curriculum that is responsive and research-based. And ang pinakamalapit na dito ay yung application ng different learning theories. Okay? Number 7 po ay letter A. Next, number 8. Which of the following is true about constructivism? Nabanggit ko itong constructivism kanina. So ano ba yung pinaka-pundasyon na pag sinabi natin na constructivism approach as one of the learning pedagogies no na ina-advocate po ng ating K-12 program. Ma'am Vanessa, you are there, Ma'am Vanessa? Anong answer mo, ma'am, for number 8?
C po, sir.
Correct. No? Letter C is correct. It regards learners as constructors of knowledge. Ibig sabihin po ng constructivism kasi the pedagogical approach that that is not very relevant dun sa tinatawag natin ni John Locke na tabula rasa. Kung meron tayong alam na tabula rasa before na sinasabi niya na yung blank slate, no? Itong si constructivism naman, ang sinasabi niya, ang mga bata pumapasok sa school natin na meron na silang tinatawag na mga prior learnings, meron na silang tinatawag na mga prior experiences. And according to the constructivism approach, we learning facilitators, teachers, are supposed to consider itong premise na yan para makapagbigay daw tayo ng mas magandang approach pagdating po dun sa pagtuturo sa mga bata. We regard learners as constructors of knowledge rather than regarding learners as mere yung how do you call that, yung absorber ba na ina-absorb lang yung knowledge na binibigay po natin. Hindi ganun yung premise ng constructivism. Number 8 po, letter C. Number 9, one of the principles of the K-12 curriculum is to ensure differentiation of learning approaches. Which of the following is consistent with this principle? Sir Dado, andyan ka ba, sir? What's your answer, sir, for number 9?
Sir, letter C po.
Letter C is correct, no? So, bakit C po ang tamang sagot? Kung babalikan natin yung statement number 9, ensure differentiation of learning approaches. So, ang pinakamalapit po dyan ay yung letter C, no? Consider individual differences in the lesson planning. Again, all of the choices are positive. Okay, lahat po ng mga choices natin dyan ay positive. Yun nga lang, ang hinahanap po natin ay yung malapit doon sa ating statement, doon sa ating keywords in statement number 9. At yung mga keywords po natin dyan ay yung differentiation of learning approaches. Okay? Again, kapag ka po sumasagot ng tanong, hanapin po natin yung keywords doon sa ating statement. Ano yung keywords na nandyan? Yung mga keywords na yon ang magdidictate kung alin po yung tamang sagot. Okay? That's for number 9. Number 9 po ay letter C. Number 10, which of the following is true about spiral progression approach? Ma'am Lilibet, you have an answer for number 10?
Letter A, sir.
That's correct. No? Number 10 is letter A. it introduces an idea at an early age and deepened in the succeeding years. Again, yung ating spiral progression ay nakikita natin yan sa lahat ng mga subjects. Pero very crucial ito pagdating sa math, science, at saka for English, no? Yung ating tinatawag na spiral progression approach. Okay? It introduces an idea at an early age and deepened in the succeeding years. So, for example, no, in yung ating science and math subjects, makikita mo yung progression by way of looking at the different competencies that are being developed mula sa start hanggang dun sa pag-develop niya, no, in the latter portion ng kanyang curriculum development. So from grade 7 halimbawa hanggang grade 12, makikita mo yung progression ng mga topics. So ibig sabihin, what are the different competencies that are being developed from the early stages are being used o ginagamit na springboard, no, para po maintindihan ng bata yung susunod pa ng mga different na mga competencies. Okay? Halimbawa po, yung very specific na example in the science curriculum. Before, yung biology ay itinuturo po sa grade second year, no? Dati pa tawag natin nga yung second year. The problem is that yung pagtuturo ng biology sa second year ay maraming na-violate, no, na principle of learning. Bakit? Kasi in second year biology, for example, ay itinuturo natin yung photosynthesis, itinuturo natin yung mga different biomolecules like carbohydrates, proteins, ganyan. Itinuturo natin yung kanilang metabolism, yung kung paano sila nadadigest sa katawan. And the problem with that is itong idea o yung konsepto ng how do you call that? Yung konsepto ng chemical reaction ay hindi pa naman naiintindihan ng bata kasi pag-aaralan pa lang niya yung konsepto ng chemical reaction pagdating niya ng chemistry, and that will be on the third year. So in the old curriculum, yun yung naging problema. No? Pinipilit na maintindihan ng bata yung mga topics in the second year biology niya where in fact, hindi pa naman niya nako-cover yung iba pang mga important learning competencies na makakatulong sana para maintindihan niya yung proseso na yon. Okay? Kaya nga binago nila yan. Nagkaroon na ng spiral progression at yung science curriculum ang nag-benefit talaga nung pagbabago niya yan under the K-12. Okay? Number 11. What core principle of the K-12 basic education program promotes the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete basic education? Anong principle ito? Ma'am LV, are you there? Ma'am LV, anong sagot mo po, ma'am? Number 11. Wala. Sir Richard, andiyan ka ba, sir? What's your answer, sir, for number 11?
Letter D po, sir.
Correct. No? And that is the definition ng tinatawag natin na inclusive education. Okay. So, yan po yung nakalagay doon sa ating K-12 program. One of the core principles ay yung inclusivity. At pag sinabi natin na inclusive education po, yan yung ating definition. Alright? Next, number 12. Which of the following is not considered a 21st century skill? Anyone? What's your answer for number 12? Sir Rick? Si Sir Rick nandyan?
Sir, number 12, letter D.
Letter D, correct. Hindi po yan kasama under the 21st century skill. No? Ang kasama po dyan ay yung information and media and technology skills, learning and innovation skills, at saka po communication skills. No? Na letter D po, collaboration skills, ay hindi po kasama under the 21st century skill as defined under the K-12 program. Okay? Number 13 po. K-12 graduates are expected to be capable of the following curricular exits. Except okay, sige po ma'am. Okay po. Okay po ma'am LV. Number 13, Ma'am Luz. Ma'am Luz?
Letter D.
Letter D, correct. Yung higher education, kasama po yan sa curricular exit. NPrep ay kasama, employment kasama. Ang hindi lang po kasama ay yung high-level skills development. Kasi ito dapat ay, ano dapat ito, Ma'am Luz?
Middle skills, sir.
Middle skills, correct. Mid-level skills, kung tawagin po natin. Okay? Tama. For number 13 po, ang hindi kasama ay ang letter D. Okay, next. Number 14. Which of the following is not true about classroom-based assessment? TO number 8, series of 2015. Ito po yung nag-define dyan. Not true about classroom assessment. Anyone po for number 14? Anong tamang sagot?
40 letter A. 40 letter A.
A, correct. Ang formative assessment results may be considered for grading purposes. Never pong pwedeng gawing grading, no? For grading purpose yung ating formative assessment. Very strict po yung kumbaga yung literature dito. Nagsasabi na hindi mo po pwedeng gamitin. The only basis na po pwede natin na gamitin for grading and promotion ay yung ating tinatawag na summative assessment. Ang formative assessment ay hindi po natin pwedeng gagamitin para sa kahit na ano pong klase ng grading. So anong gamit ngayon ng formative assessment? Ang formative assessment ay ginagamit po natin to improve instruction, assist instruction, and to be able to redirect, no, yung ating instruction. But never for grading purposes. Ang actually ang gamit ng grading ng formative assessment ay never po na ang gamit ng formative assessment ay ginagamit natin to springboard, no, para doon sa conduct ng ating summative assessment. Ibig sabihin, kung ang result ng formative assessment ay maganda na or satisfactory na, that's the only time, no, na po pwede ka nang magbigay ng tinatawag natin na summative assessment. Okay? Number 15. Why do we consider play as an important avenue for learning and development during the early childhood? Ano bang gamit ng play? Letter
B, sir.
B, correct, no? It improves creativity and symbolic thinking. Ayan. So yan po yung napaka-essential part, no, ng paggamit po natin ng play bilang parte, no, ng ating learning and development scheme ng early childhood. That is also the same premise, no, na ginagamit under the omnibus policy on the kindergarten education. Under the Republic Act 10157, kung di ako nagkakamali, doon sa ating kindergarten act. Okay? 16, why should we conduct learning assessment on a regular basis? Anyone?
Letter C, sir.
Letter
C.
C, no? Correct, no? Why should we conduct learning assessment on a regular basis? Tama yan, no? In order to provide, no, timely intervention. Kasi nga, kapag hindi ka nagbibigay ng pag hindi po tayo nagbibigay ng regular assessment, then hindi tayo makakapagbigay ng timely intervention dun sa kailangan na ibigay. Again, ang pagsagot ng or ang pagbase ng sagot na ito ay base doon sa ano ba yung napaka-ideal na scenario pagdating ng classroom setting. Okay? So hindi natin sinasabi na ito ay practical, but ang sinasabi natin na ito yung ideal. Okay? What is ideal? And whenever we answer questions sa principles test, tandaan niyo po ito, what is ideal? Sabi ko nga ay dapat ang mindset mo, ang framework mo ay nakaangkla doon sa mabait ka. Ito ay nakaangkla doon sa ikaw ay dapat ay kahit na nagbabait-baitan lang. Sabi nga. Okay. Kailangan ay ano ba yung pinaka-ideal na sagot? Alright, number 17. Why is there a need to inform the family and the community regarding the general outcomes of learning? Anong purpose? Bakit tayo nagbibigay ng information sa community or the family for that matter? Transparency, encouragement ng cooperation, soliciting ng support, or avoid misunderstanding?
Letter B, sir.
Yung pinaka-tamang sagot. Ma'am Mariado.
B, sir. B. To
B.
encourage cooperation and partnership.
That's right. Again, positive lahat yan ha. Pero hanapin po ninyo yung pinaka-ideal. Encourage cooperation and partnership. Yan po talaga yung hinahanap po natin dyan na pinaka-the best na sagot pagdating po dito sa answer natin for number 17. Number 18, warmth affects students academically, emotionally, and behaviorally. Which of the following does not provide warmth inside the classroom? Ang item number 18 ay one of the principles of the PDET, no? Yung tinatawag natin na positive discipline in everyday teaching. So, kasama ang warmth doon sa tinatawag natin ng mga building blocks. Pag na-download nyo na po yung PDET file na binigay ko, ay nakikita nyo po yung meaning ng warmth. And how can we provide warmth? Ang number 18, anong tamang sagot?
Letter C, sir.
Letter C, correct. No? Ma'am Lilibet, tama yan. Show structure in solving conflicts. Sir, anong ibig sabihin yun? Or anong legal basis niyan? Ganun pa rin, the PDET pa rin. So, in the PDET file, meron doon mga nakalagay kung paano ka makapag-provide ng warmth para po doon sa inyong klase. Okay? Yung iba kasi, ibang punto na yan eh. Like say, for example, yung having a long-term goal, ganyan. That would form part of the PDET building blocks. And for the warmth, ang sagot po natin for number 18 ay letter C, showing structure in solving conflicts. 19.
Sir, pero sabi dyan kasi, which of the following does not provide warmth? Kaya sinagot ko letter A, mali. Which of the following does not
Ay, oo
provide
nga, no? Baliktad yung explanation ko, no? Wait lang, mama. I'm going to look for the, I'm going to look for the PDET file. Para sigurado ako, baka ako nagkamali.
Sige po, sir.
Ayan, no? Baka ako yung nagkamali. Nagkamali ako ng explanation. Ito yung PDET. Okay. So ito yung file. Ano lang naman siya, 48 pages lang naman, and that's a very easy to download. Ito yung PDET or the positive discipline in everyday teaching. So nakalagay diyan, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng positive discipline? Ano ang hindi positive discipline? At yung building block na tinatawag natin. Okay. So in here, makikita po natin that ang building block natin ay ang pinaka highest form ng block ay yung problem solving. Ano yung pinaka pundasyon ng ating PDET? child rights principles, tsaka yung mga pedagogical principles. Alright? Makikita natin yung warmth dito sa bandang gitna and then the structure. Alright? So dito titingnan natin paano nga ba, titingnan natin yung sagot natin. Provision of warmth. Ayan. Ito yung mga example niya. Under the provision ng warmth, creating school and classroom environments that ensure your students feel physically and emotionally safe. So it requires that you recognize and respect their developmental levels. So sensitive to their academic and social needs and empathize with their emotions and the situations that they may be facing. Okay. Tama. Mali yung explanation ko kanina, but yung sagot natin kanina ay does not, Ma'am Mariado?
Yes po, sir. Alisin lang yung not, sir.
Correct. Ang sagot natin ay pareho pa rin yung ating sagot. The answer is still standing at letter C. The only difference between the two is that itong mga itong 18, no? Yung students are allowed to make mistakes, show interest in terms of who your learners are, and consider your students' point of view are all under warmth. Yun nga lang, yung letter C ay under structure. Okay? So makikita natin dito, ito i-highlight ko ng konti para makita natin. Ayan. So workout conflicts ay under siya ng structure. Mali yung reasoning ko kanina. Baliktad pala, Ma'am Mariado, baliktad. It should be yung letter C ay under siya ng structure and the rest of the choices ay under siya ng warmth. Okay po?
Sir. Okay.
So, kaya nga letter C pa rin yung sagot. Baliktad. Okay
Pero
po?
sir, malapit pa rin yung sagot niya, sir. Doon sa question.
Which one, ma'am?
Yung tamang sagot po, sir, yung letter C. Pag titignan mo pa rin, sir, malapit pa rin siya doon sa mga options A, B, and D.
Yes. Yun nga lang, it's not, kaya nga kung titignan po ninyo si PDET, bakit siya, kasi ang warp structure ay nandun siya sa pareho na block. Ayan, no?
Yes po,
kaya
sir.
nga may relevance yung dalawang yan.
Yes po, sir.
Kapag PDET yung pinag-uusapan, syempre, ang building block natin na pinaka-foundation niya will be yung child rights principles at saka yung pedagogical principles. And then, ano ba yung long-term goal na gusto mo mangyari? Meron kang mga nakikita, may situation. If there's a particular situation in the classroom, ang titignan mo palagi dyan ay ano ba yung mga legal basis mo? So, ano ba yung legal basis niya in terms of how you are going to approach the problem? Ay kailangan naka-base ito in terms of yung child rights principles at saka mga pedagogical principles. Okay? So, kapag may legal basis ka nang nakita dyan, isa-set mo na yung goal mo, ilalagay natin kung anong particular goal na gusto mong mangyari dun sa bata. And with that goal, kailangan itong ma-actualize by the provision of warmth at saka yung structure. Kaya nga, sabi ni Ma'am Luz nga ay halos pareho. Kasi nga nasa pareho na level yung dalawa. Yung dalawang building block na pinag-uusapan natin. Although, there should be a differentiation between warmth and the structure. So, ang warmth kasi is yung creating school and classroom environments that ensure that the students feel physically and emotionally safe. Ang structure naman is the information students need in order to succeed academically and behaviorally. Yun yung definition na ibinigay between warmth and that of the structure. Okay? So you can download the material, no? You can have that na may mga definition. Actually, maganda itong material na to because a lot of examples na ibinigay dito sa bandang dulo. Okay, marami siyang mga examples. Halimbawa, yan, grabbing others' belongings, the child could not control toilet needs, halimbawa, may mga specific na mga or mga recommended na mga actions para kay school, para kay teacher, and how the teacher can be able to the child can be able to yun nga provide no yung actions needed. All right? We proceed to the next number. Anong number na ako, Ma'am Mariado? 19.
19 na po, sir.
Yes. When a child at the early childhood stage is punished, he is likely to feel rejected. No? What could be the ultimate result of the punishment to the child in terms of school activities?
Letter D, sir.
Letter, Ma'am Luz, letter
D.
D, dog. Okay?
Yes, sir.
They tend to lose motivation in going to school. Okay? Ideally, ito daw yung posible na mangyari. Out of all the different choices, ito yung ultimately na posibleng mangyari kapag ang bata at a very early stage ng kanyang development ay laging nabibigyan ng punishment. Number 19 po ay letter D. 20, mentoring is an opportunity to assist beginning teachers by a seasoned teacher. Which of the following is not a benefit that may be derived by a beginning teacher from the mentoring program? Sir Rick, go ahead.
Letter D.
Okay, letter D, correct. No opportunity for future promotion and recognition. It's out of context. Ang mentoring ay primarily ay isang how do you call that? Yung provision of technical assistance, no? At syempre hindi ito ginagamit o hindi ito kumbaga ang pinaka motivation dito ay hindi yung base sa future promotion at saka yung recognition. Okay? Number 20 po ay letter D. The rest na po, access to the knowledge, yan, kasama. Enhance personal and professional well-being, kasama yan, dun sa mga benefits na nakukuha. And increase job success, self-confidence, and the self-esteem. Ito yung nabibigay ng mentoring, no, para sa mga beginning teachers if properly conducted by the seasoned teacher. Okay? For number 21, ito na yung ating mga yung table, yung kumbaga breaking question natin. So, meron tayong table dyan. Meron tayong mga names ng mga teachers, yung level of commitment nila, at saka yung kanilang level of abstraction. At nakalagay dyan kung ano yung tinatawag natin ng mga categories. Ano ba yung mga kanilang mga categories? So, what are these categories na? So, si Teacher J, low commitment, low abstraction, dropout. Teacher K, high commitment, high abstraction, professional. Si Teacher L, high ang commitment, low ang kanyang abstraction, unfocused. Si Teacher M, low ang commitment, high ang abstraction, analytic. Diba? Sa school ninyo may ganyan eh. No? Sa school namin, syempre, kakategorize mo, di ba, Ma'am Luz? Makakategorize mo yun eh kung sino yung mga nandyan. Sino yung dropout, sino yung professional, sino ang unfocused, sino ang analytic. Ayan. Number 21. Teacher J should be clinically supervised in order to improve level of performance. Is it sufficient, not sufficient, false, or not covered?
A, sir.
A, correct, no? Ang tinatawag natin na dropout teacher ay ang mga teachers po natin na low yung commitment nila at saka low pa yung kanilang abstraction. So in other words, mahina na nga, hindi pa masigasig sa pagtuturo. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun, no? So level of abstraction niya ay mababa, yung level ng commitment niya ay mababa din. So dropout teacher ito. So ano kailangan gawin kay dropout teacher? Kailangan ito ay clinically supervised. Every step of the way ay kailangan mayroong assistance na ibinibigay sa kanya. The worst category kapag ikaw ay dropout teacher. No? Worst category yan. Mahirap yan. And that should be properly supervised para sa isang school head. Number 22, Teacher M must be assisted by a mentor with unquestionable work ethics and commitment. Teacher M.
Teacher M.
Si Teacher M ay low yung commitment niya at saka low pa yung kanyang abstraction.
A, sir.
A.
Correct. A pa rin kasi mababa yung level of commitment. Low level of commitment. So kailangan ang magme-mentor sa kanya ay yung mga teachers or a mentor that with unquestionable work ethics and commitment. Number 23. Teacher K can only mentor Teacher J and Teacher L.
C, sir.
C. Bakit si sir? Ano ba si Teacher K? Ano ba yung category niya? Professional teacher. High commitment, high abstraction. Kapag high commitment at saka high ang kanyang abstraction, ito ay ideal candidate para maging mentor. At kung ano man yung level ng mentoring or ano man yung mga kahit na sino na mga teachers ay pwede niyang i-mentor kapag ganito po yung kanyang character. You have to take note that yung ating mga mentors ay by default ay sila yung ating mga master teachers, for example, or yung mga department heads, ganyan. Okay? Pero hindi nakakahulugan na sila lamang, no? Kasi based on categories, talagang meron kang makikita ng mga teachers na kahit na hindi pa sila mga master teachers o hindi pa sila mga department heads, for example, ay nagpapakita na ng high level of commitment at saka yung high level of abstraction. Okay? So, can they be considered as a mentor? Definitely. Definitely. Kasi hindi naman nakabase yan sa kanilang mga designation. Okay? Number 23, letter C. Number 24, the school head should conduct inset focused on RA 6713. To assist Teacher J and Teacher L. Anong tamang sagot? Number 24. Anyone?
Parang letter A.
Letter B, sir.
Letter A, letter B. Ang tamang sagot ay letter B, no? Okay, the school head should conduct. Ito po ay not sufficient, no? Not sufficient. Kasi nga, hindi po lamang nangangahulugan na yan lamang yung kailangan ni Teacher J at saka ni Teacher L. Kaya nga insufficient. No? Ang ano po natin dyan ay insufficient po yung data na pinag. Okay, next. Number 25. Which of the following is not true about contextualization? During the training ng K-12, talagang punong-puno ng training, no? Doon sa konsepto ng contextualization. Anyone po? Anyone from the group?
Letter D.
Letter
D.
Go.
Limits.
The use of materials, those that are available. No? Correct. Not true about contextualization yan. So ano nga ba yung ano? When you contextualize, ano ba yung mga other big words that are related to it? So pag sinabi po natin na contextualization, kasama po dyan yung term na localization,
indigenous,
at saka indigenization, di ba? Nung nag-attend kayo ng K-12 training, di ba? So, to contextualize is to localize and to indigenize the curriculum. Okay? Kasama po yun yung term na yun. So, letter B is correct. No? Contextualization is also part of curriculum enhancement. And then letter C po, contextualization can be done in all learning areas. These are all positive. So, ang hindi po tama dito ay yung letter D. kasi it limits the use of materials to those that are only available. Next, number 26, assessment. The use of authentic assessment is anchored on the principle that, anong tamang sagot for number 26?
Letter C, sir.
Letter C, correct, no? Learning should help learners solve real-world problems. Okay? Yan ang dahilan, no, kung bakit ang authentic assessment ay naging isang malaking paradigm shift, no, in the level of assessment. So dati-dati, ang assessment po natin ay naka-anchor lamang dun sa ating mga traditional na mga approaches. But it came to be na based on research, napakarami na mga skills, napakaraming mga, with the changing realities of life, napakaraming mga kumbaga abilities, no, na kailangan na makita or na hindi usually na measure gamit yung mga traditional na mga paper and pencil testing. So the reason why naging matunog at naging parte ng tinatawag natin na paradigm shift ng ating assessment yung paggamit ng authentic assessment. And that would be the ability, no, that would help measure the ability of learners to help or to solve real world problems. Aside from that, kasama ng paradigm shifting na yon ay yung tinatawag, sinasabi na nga natin na based on the paper and pencil test, they are considered to be good. Learners were categorized as kumbaga bright learners, no? Performing learners. Pero pagdating doon sa solving ng real life problems, medyo hindi nagiging consistent, no, yung result. So doon nagkaroon ng mga doubts in terms of the ability of the paper and pencil testing to be able to measure yung other abilities ng ating mga learners for them to succeed in the real world. So ipinanganak at naging parte nga ng paradigm shifting yung tinatawag natin na authentic assessment. Number 27. Which of the following is an environment which promotes fairness? Parang na doble ba? Anyone for number 27?
Letter D po sa
Letter
D.
D, correct. Pupils are grouped according to abilities and interests and allowed to progress at their own pace. Yeah. So yan ang hinahanap po natin whenever we talk about fairness. The condition is that to provide yung ating mga learners the ability for them to be able to develop at their own pace, no? Pati yan ng promotion ng fairness natin. For number 27 po ay letter D. Number 28, which of the following classroom seating arrangements promote fairness?
Letter D.
Letter D. Yeah, correct. Pupils who are nearsighted are seated in front of those who are farsighted at the back. Yeah. That would be more physiologically correct, no? Para dito kay number 28. 28 po, letter D. 29. What kind of environment is created by a child-friendly school? So, pag child-friendly yung school, ano yung gusto mong maano dito? Yes, Sir Joe?
A healthy.
Letter?
A healthy.
A healthy psychological climate for learning. Correct, no? For number 29 po ay letter B. Pero pansinin po ninyo, lahat pa rin ng mga choices natin dyan ay more on the positive. All positive choices. Okay? Siyempre, ano yung mas malalim, ano yung mas morally correct among all the different choices natin. For number 29 po, it's letter B, a healthy psychological climate for learning. 30. What is the most effective way of informing parents about the progress of their children in school? Number 30 is? Anyone? Letter B, correct, no? Writing a letter to all parents informing them of how their children are progressing. Again, ito yung sinasabi nga natin na whenever we talk about this question, maraming mga debate yung lumalabas diyan. Kasi sabi nila, hindi, ang tamang sagot diyan letter C. Okay? Inviting parents to school. Kasi yan ang ginagawa namin eh. Di ba? Ang isang sabi niya, hindi, ang tamang sagot ay letter C kasi yan daw yung practical way of doing it. Ang sabi ko naman, that is the most practical way. But that doesn't mean that that is the effective way. Ang hinahanap natin ay the most effective way of informing parents about the progress of their children. We're not looking at the most practical. We understand that in an ideal setting, hindi naman natin ito ginagawa. Okay? May gumagawa ba niya ng mga teachers natin na gumagawa ng love letter para sa kanilang sa mga magulang na dinidetalye niya kung paano yung anak niya performing inside the school at kung paano yung behavior ng bata in terms of paano nakikipag-deal yung bata inside the school together yung kanyang mga classmates. So, I bet iilan. Kung meron man, very, very rare yung ganong mga teachers. But nonetheless, ang hinahanap ng item number 30 ay the most effective way. So, we're not looking at the most practical, but we're looking at the most effective way. And the most effective way is for letter B. And it is actually supported by a literature. Meron tayong literature na nagsusupport dito for number 30. Kaya nga, number 30 po ay letter B, boy. 31. Which of the following refers to an act of exclusion, distinction, restriction? Anong ibig sabihin niyan? DO number 40 na tayo. Series of 2012.
Letter C.
Correct, no? Discrimination against children. Exclusion, distinction, yan. Hindi po yan abuse, hindi po exploitation, but that is what we call discrimination. According to DepEd Order number 40, series of 2012. Number 32. Based on the DepEd Order number 40, what term refers to the use of children for someone else's advantage, gratification, or profit?
Letter C.
Letter C, correct. Ang tawag po natin dito ay child exploitation. Child exploitation. Number 33, bullying may consist of any one or more of the following acts, except alin ang hindi kasama na definition ng bullying?
Hindi po.
Letter D, correct. Protect, kaya nga positive siya. Protecting a child from abuse. Lahat na po yan ay mga definition ng bullying. Tandaan po natin, ang definition ng bullying. No? Ang bullying ay student to student. Kapag student to teacher, anong tawag mo doon? Bullying pa kaya yun? Yes, Ma'am Vanessa. Kapag bullying, student to student. Kapag abuse, ano yun?
Teacher to student.
Teachers doon kay student. It's a teacher-student kind of conflict, or any kind of adult, no, or any school personnel for that matter, where it's not only among teachers. Okay, kaya tandaan niyo yung definition. Kapag ka-bullying, no? Kapag ka-bullying, sino ang kailangan na maging who should act on it? Who should act on it? Anyone? Kapag bullying yung case,
guidance designate, sir.
yan, mga ganong mga pwede nang i-mediate yan sa loob ng school. Guidance designate, okay? Pwede mo nang patawag yung Child Protection Committee mo for that matter. Okay? Pero kapag ka mga child abuse na, ibang usapan na yun, ano? Lalong-lalo na kapag sexual yung nature ng abuse.
Referral na yun, sir.
Referral na yun ang pwede mong gawin. Pero kapag bullying can be settled within the within the grounds of the school. Pwede bang isettle ang bullying outside of the school? Halimbawa sa harapan ng barangay captain or sa mayor for that matter?
No, sir.
No. Tandaan niyo yan, ha? Ang bullying ay hindi po pwedeng magawing barangay affair o hindi siya pwedeng gawing LGU affair. Malinaw yung mandate ng ating DO number 40 na ang bullying case ay to be settled within the jurisdiction ng school. Hindi ito pwedeng panghimasukan ng ibang mga kasi it happened or it's within the grounds or the jurisdiction ng school. Okay? 34. What is the difference between punishment and discipline in the school context? Ano yung pinakatamang sagot natin for number 34?
A, sir.
A, correct. No? Punishment is to control behavior while discipline is to develop behavior. Okay? Kaya nga, we go into the positive discipline rather than advocating yung tinatawag po natin na punishment. Number 35, disciplining a learner should take account of the following except. Anong tamang sagot?
Letter C.
Sir Richard, go ahead.
Letter C po sa...
Letter C, correct. Kaya nga sabi nga natin, whenever we do punishment, ang punishment ay we control behavior but we do not develop behavior. Kaya nga ang disciplining naman ay ibig sabihin we develop good behavior instead of controlling them. Alright? Focus on correcting and educating, part yan ng discipline. Promoting responsibility and self-discipline and never compromising the dignity of the learner are all being taken into account. Pag sinabi po natin na discipline. Pero pag controlling behavior, yan, punishment na po yan. Yun ang definition po niya. 36. Which of the following is true about positive discipline? Developing learner permissiveness, no imposition of rules, learners are given freedom to be who they are and do what they want, or imposing clear and consistent communication. Positive. Ma'am Vanessa?
Letter D po.
Letter D, correct. Imposing a clear and consistent communication. That's positive discipline. Okay? Part po yun. Actually, yung imposing clear and consistent communication, providing structure po yun. Part yan ng pag-provide ng structure within the school context. For number 36 po ay letter D. Number 37, as a school head, you wanted the entire school community to undergo paradigm shift as to the acceptance and implementation of whole school positive discipline approach. What is the most logical way to initiate the program? Nag-uumpisa pa lang. So, anong kailangan gawin? 37 po ay letter. Sir Rick?
Mali yung sagot ko, sir, Mali.
Okay.
A, sir.
Letter C, sir.
Okay ba?
Letter C.
Tamang sagot ay letter?
C. Letter C. C. Ensure.
Ensure that school manual on positive discipline is in place.
A, sir.
Letter B.
For identified problems. Letter?
B.
Letter B. Actually, the answer there is letter B. No? Develop a shared vision as to what the school would like to achieve. That's the most logical way to initiate the program. We talk about the initiation of the program. We talk about how it would start. So, saan ba mag-uumpisa? Ano ano ba dapat ang pag-umpisa ng isang program? Kailangan may sariling, meron siyang vision. Kailangan merong direction yung program. And it should only be, whenever we talk about the whole school positive discipline approach, kailangan it's a shared vision among the different stakeholders. Diba? So yan yung most logical way. Ang keyword natin doon ay yung logical way to initiate the programs. And of course, yung whole of school positive discipline approach, nakikita naman natin yan among the different choices. So ang pagbasehan natin dyan, pag-umpisa pa lamang yung program to be implemented. So ano ba kailangan natin na gawin? Diba? Mag-focus ka na ba kagad doon sa mga identified problems? Diba? Will the school manual on positive discipline be really implemented? Okay. Kapag meron bang solve na ba yung problema mo? Hindi, di ba? So number 37 po ay letter B. Develop a shared vision as to what the school would like to achieve. For number 37, letter B. Number 38, one of the teachers argued that without physical punishment, the learners will lose respect and ultimately the authority inside the classroom. What is the best advice that you can give to the teacher? Under the child protection policy, for number 38,
letter B, sir.
Letter B, correct. The teacher should understand that fear should not be confused with authority. Ayan. This is the logical, the statement laging ginagamit, no? Lagi itong binabanggit na mawawalan ng respect and so on. So, pero according to the positive discipline, sabi nga natin, if that will be followed, the teacher should understand that the fear of punishment should not be confused with that of authority. 38 po, letter B. 39. Pedagogy is often related to teaching approaches and methodologies. Under the RA 10533, K-12 Act, the curriculum shall use pedagogical approaches that are, anong tamang definition ng pedagogical approaches under RA 10533?
A, sir. Sir, C.
A. Correct. Tama si Ma'am Lilibet, no? Constructivist, inquiry-based, reflective, collaborative, and integrative. Yan po yung mga description ng teaching approaches and methodologies under 10533. Okay? Yan po yung nakalagay under K-12 Act. 39 po ay letter A. 40. Which of the following approaches is based on the premise that learning is a natural social act? Constructivist, inquiry-based, collaborative, or integrative?
C po.
C, collaborative. Collaborative because being a social being, a sense of belongingness, no? The gregariousness, tama ba? We are born gregarious, sabi nga. Kumbaga, we are a social being, so we need to collaborate. Number 40 po ay letter C. 41. What generation is considered the first truly digital and global generation? Understanding the kind of learners that we have inside the classroom. For number 41, anong sagot? Ma'am Lilibet?
Generation Z.
Correct. No, Generation Z. No? Millennials are 1980s, kung di ako nagkakamali, or 81 hanggang 95. Followed by Generation X and then followed by yung pinaka-latest, no, the Generation Z. Anong pagkakaiba ng mga generations na ito? The kind of technology that they are immersed with. Okay? Kasi yung mga millennials, mga mga digital migrants, no? Or the digital immigrants kung tinatawag. Pero yung mga Generation Z, they were born with all the internet and with all of the current technologies that we have. So sila yung first truly digital and global generation. Sila yung mga pinanganak ngayon lang. Itong with the onset of all of this wireless technology na meron tayo sa ngayon. So, iba yung digital natives eh. So, itong mga Generation Z, maaari nating sabihin na ito yung mga tinatawag natin na mga digital natives. Pero tayo, mga tinatawag na parte ng millennials, tayo ay tinatawag na, or tayo yung mga parte ng tinatawag na digital immigrants. We were born without all of the technology, and then nung dumating yung mga technology, we learned it. We were able to embrace the change, sabi nga. Ang baby boomers, sila yung mga ipinanganak after the World War II. So right after the war, pumalik na yung mga nagkaroon ng boom ng mga bata. Kaya tawag daw sa kanila yung mga baby boomers. After the war, lahat ng mga sundalo bumalik sa kanilang mga bahay. Bumalik sa kanilang mga pamilya. Kaya nagkaroon ng baby boom. Yan. Sila na yung mga senior citizens sa ngayon, sabi. Next, number 42, which is not included in the developmental domains for the kindergarten curriculum. Yung mga nagtuturo ng kinder, alam na alam nyo to. Anyone? Number 42?
Letter C, sir.
Correct, no? Sir Richard, correct? Cognitive intellectual development ay hindi parte ng development ng mga bata. Okay? Please take note of that. Character values development kasama. Social and emotional development kasama. Okay? And then, pagdating dito kay numeracy and communication kasama din. Pero the rest na po ay hindi na po kasama. Next, number 43. Teacher C submitted their portfolio at the end of the school year with the corresponding MOV. What is the next step to be done by the rater?
Letter B, sir.
Ma'am Vanessa?
Check the validity of each.
Yes. Check the validity of the MOV. Correct. Hindi natin pwedeng i-rate kagad yan. Kailangan mag-check muna tayo ng validity niya. That's the most logical way to do it. Number 44. Ayan, mga COT ratings natin. For proficient teachers, meron kang COT rating na 6, 7, 5, and 4 with the corresponding RPMS scale of 4, 5, 3, and 2. Question or statement? Teacher O shall have a RPMS scale of 4 instead of 5.
Letter B.
Letter?
Boys.
Not sufficient?
Yes, sir.
Letter C, sir.
Bakit letter C, Ma'am Vanessa?
Sir, kasi mali yung statement. Dapat
mali?
Yun, sir, ay 5.
Bakit mali yung statement, ma'am? Ano bang dapat?
Yung 7, sir, sabi niya dapat 4 instead of 5. Dapat, sir, yung 5 talaga.
Correct. Kasi that's already the maximum para po sa isang
yun yung
COT rating, ano? Yes. Ma'am Luz, bakit B ang sagot mo?
Sir, mali lang yung nakita kong numbers.
Okay, sige.
Hindi naman, natutuling na kasi ako sir dun sa... Si sir.
Alright, sige. Letter C, correct. Number 44, letter C. 45. Teacher P shall be given an IPCRF rating of 2 for the indicator being measured.
Not sufficient, sir.
Not sufficient. Bakit not sufficient? Correct.
Kasi
Kasi,
Kasi 5 yun.
Sir, wala pong rate yatang 3. Ay, 2.
walang rating ng 2.
Oh.
Okay.
Minimum of 3, ang alam ko.
Hindi, meron siyang i-rate siya ng 5 kaya lang.
Not sufficient. Tama si not sufficient. Pero we're looking for the possible explanation.
Wala kasing magpo-prove, sir. Walang evidence.
Again, because COT rating lang yan. Hindi pa naman yan, kaya nga not sufficient because there are also other indicators that are supposed to be measured.
Yes,
alright? Kaya nga, ang sagot natin dyan ay letter B, not sufficient. No? Hindi pa kompleto no? Hindi pa natin kompleto. Okay? So, for number 45, it's letter B, correct. Not sufficient. 46, teacher O can be a mentor to teacher Q relative to the indicator measure.
C, false.
False, no? Bakit false?
Sir, dapat mga empty ang mentor.
Okay, correct. Okay, mga proficient teachers yan. By virtue of lahat ng ating mga highly proficient teachers ay sila dapat yung mentor. Kaya nga false right away. 47, teacher shall be provided with more technical assistance by the mentor.
A, sir.
A, correct. Sufficient. Alright? Kasi nga ang APMS scale niya ay 2. Correct. Alright? 47 po ay letter A. 48, which of the following statements describes evaluation of learning the right way? Anyone? For number 48, developing assessment tools, assessing the difference between the pre-test and the post-test results, or using statistical tools to derive mean scores. Or letter D, promoting learners based on the derived average from across subject learning areas.
Letter A.
Letter A.
Letter A.
You have to take note we talk about the evaluation.
Letter C yata, sir.
Letter C ba?
B, ata, sir.
Okay, say natin Pag sinabi natin na evaluation of learning the right way, so we have to consider the difference between assessment and evaluation, including the measurement. So yung development of assessment tools based on the learning competencies, basically measurement yan. Assessing the difference between the pre-test and the post-test, basically ito ay assessment. Okay? Using statistical tools to derive mean scores, assessment din ito. No? Pero yung promotion, yan yung tinatawag natin po na evaluation. Okay? Yun yung difference po kasi nilang tatlo. So, given the context, ang pagkakaiba po nila ng measurement, assessment, at saka ang evaluation ay doon sa kanilang nature o yung kanilang purposes. No? Pag measurement, ang measurement ay ang paggamit ng tool, okay, to get the result. Like say for example, pag nagbigay ka ng pre-test, nagbigay ka ng post-test, or nagbigay ka ng kahit anong klase ng test, ito po yung tinatawag natin na measurement. Ano naman si assessment? Pag assessment, ito yung paggamit natin ng mga statistical tools, ito yung paggamit natin ng mga formulas, ito yung pag-analyze natin ng ating mga data. Yun ang tinatawag po natin na assessment. Alright? Pero kapag sinabi naman natin na measurement or ng evaluation, ano ka na sa dulo? Judgment, promotion, yan. Yun na yung konteksto po na tinatawag natin na evaluation. So in this case, promoting learners based on the derived average from across subject areas Yan po ang definition ng tinatawag natin na evaluation. Okay? So, kailangan po balik tayo doon sa yung literature definition. Kung anong pagkakaiba ng measurement, ng assessment, at saka ng evaluation. Alright? I hope that's clear, no? 49, coaching and mentoring are often misconstrued, no? To be the same thing. Some interchangeably use the term these terms to refer to the assistance given to staff. Which of these concepts does not hold true about coaching?
Letter B.
Okay, no? That not true about coaching, that's P, no? It's a power-free relationship based on mutual respect. Ano ba itong definition na ito? Ito yung definition ng mentoring. Ito yung definition ng mentoring. Me. Are you done? Okay. For number 49 po ay letter B. Yan. It's a power-free relationship. Ito yung definition po na tinatawag natin na mentor. 50. Who among the teachers below performed diagnostic test?
Letter D, sir.
Letter D, correct. Mr. Paliso, who administered a readiness test to the incoming grade 1 pupils. You have to take note po yung tinatawag natin na diagnostic test ay kasama po yan doon sa 4 na purposes ng evaluation procedure or assessment procedure. Meron tayong tinatawag na formative purpose, meron tayong summative, meron kang diagnostic, at saka meron kang placement. No? In this particular case, ang diagnostic test ay yung pag-administer po ng readiness to the incoming grade 1 pupils. Sometimes, nagkakaroon ng distinction, nagkakaroon tayo ng problema doon sa pag-differentiate between pre-testing at saka yung diagnostic test. Hindi po, no? Tandaan po natin na kapag sinabi po ninyong diagnostic test, ito yung paggamit po ng mga standardized test. Ibig sabihin po ng standardized test, hindi po ito ginagawa lang ng isang teacher. But rather, ito ay ginagawa ng mga professional item writers. And usually, ito yung mga validated na mga test materials. Pero kapag ikaw ay nagbigay lang ng pre-testing, kagaya ng mga nakita natin yan sa mga binigay na mga statements, then ito ay pwedeng gawing teacher-made test, no? Kasi pre-testing lang. So in this particular case, ang gumawa ng diagnostic test ay yung nag-administer ng readiness test to the incoming grade 1 pupils. Okay? Ayan. So number 50 po ay letter D, dog. Okay. Sige, tingnan ko kung sino ang may pinakamataas na score. Sino bang may pinakamataas na score? Sige, congratulations ha. Congratulations sa mga matataas ang kanilang mga scores. Congratulations kay Ma'am Mariado, 38 points. Congratulations, Ma'am. Sino pa? Congratulations, Ma'am Luz. Maaari ba si Ma'am Luz? 38 points. Parehas sila ni Ma'am Mariado. No? Ang pa-burger ka lang, Ma'am Luz. No? Parang nakikita ko matataas ang score nitong si Ma'am Luz. Kakapasok lang na kasama natin. And the rest po ay mga naka-30 and above. Ma'am Elena Baladad, 31. Si Ma'am Elizabeth ay 30. Si Ma'am Vanessa ay 36. Ayan. So sila po yung mga nakasama ng... Alright? Any clarifications po para po dito sa ating session ngayong araw? May mga katanungan po ba kayo? Domain number 3 po ito, no? Ang susunod po natin ay isa pang domain number 3 ulit. That will be on the February. Kasi by January 29 ay mag-face-to-face po ulit tayo. Magkakaroon tayo ng MAC number 2. That will be on January 29. So we still extend the invitation to batch 1 para sumama po dito para magkaroon po kayo ng refresher. As of now, wala pang memo na inilabas or may impending na memo na lalabas. Wala pa po para po dito sa ating examination. So we're still waiting for news and some other memo that will support it. So as of now, waiting pa rin po tayo. However, we are still encouraging everybody to prepare yung kanilang mga documents base doon sa inilabas na initial memo na. Yes, Sir Rick, go ahead po. May tanong po kayo?
Sir, mayroon lang akong clarification sa number 21. Go back to number
Yes, sir.
21.
Go ahead po.
Kasi yung teacher J is low commitment. Tapos level of instruction niya low. What if as being a teacher, as being a principal, kasi principal na kayo, sir, no?
Apo.
Can you give us your thoughts dun sa yung low, yung master teacher?
Bakit po?
Paano mo siya i-motivate yung isang master teacher na very low siya sa commitment, very low sa abstraction? How would you handle that situation as being a master, as being a principal?
Okay.
Kasi despite of parang out of 25 teachers, siya yung weakest link, yung master teacher. So how would you motivate that as being a principal? Yung yung paano mo siya i-guide kasi isa siyang mentor eh.
Correct.
Pwede mo siyang paano mo siya tulungan, kumbaga ganon, para hindi siya maging low, magiging mentor siya sa mga kapwa niya teacher din.
Okay. So
kasi
again,
ang nandito kasi, sir, teacher siya, di ba? Ang tanong ko, mentor, master teacher. Ngayon, nagkataon ng master teacher, low and low. Siya yung pinakababa. So, tanong, how would you guide it as being a principal?
Okay. Magandang scenario yung nabanggit mo, sir. Actually, that's the realities, no? In the field, no? Sa ibang mga master teachers. Dahil they're able to get their position as the master teacher because of the papers that they were able to gather for how many years, no? Totoo po yun, no? And based on the ranking process and in the promotion guidance that we are having right now, hindi naman nakalagay doon, no? Hindi lang. Pero syempre, bilang isang principal, you give the benefit of the doubt na kapag gano'n, no? Hindi naman magma-master teacher yan kung wala namang alam. That's the premise. Hindi naman magma-master teacher yan kung hindi naman talaga may itinatagong galing. So, yun muna ang premise na panghawakan mo. Hindi po pwede na ang premise natin i-approach mo siya na talagang wala nang alam yan or talagang patugan na talaga yan, for example. Otherwise, sabi nga nila, ang tamang approach doon ay bigyan mo ng benefit of the doubt. No? Bigyan mo siya ng additional task para sa kanya. And bilang isang school head, ikaw na mismo ang tumutok. No? Ikaw na mismo ang tumutok. So, ang approach, syempre, kung alam mo na talaga na talagang napakahirap niya na i-deal with dahil hindi talaga siya performing, bigyan mo muna siya ng mga tasks that would build up yung kanyang confidence way back. Baka naman kasi maraming mga factors yan na maraming mga dahilan yan kung bakit hindi na siya nagpa-perform. Okay? The fact na naging master teacher yan ay at one point in his career ay talagang performing yan. No? Not unless na magic yung kanyang papel. No? But that is out of the question dahil nga ang premise ulit natin lahat ng promotion guidelines ay dumaan sa tamang proseso. No? Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na isama doon sa ating assumption na naging master teacher yan dahil sa kung anong klaseng magic meron. No? Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung premise na yon. Ang pwede mong gamitin na premise is that at one point dun sa career niya, talagang performing teacher. So hanapan lang natin siya ng tamang motivation by way of providing additional tasks little by little hanggang sa ma-reintegrate siya dun sa kanyang proper role bilang isang mentor. Kasi hindi mo na mababawi yung kanyang pagiging mentor kasi kung siya na ay master teacher, talagang designated talaga na dapat mentor siya. No? Yun nga lang, bilang isang school head, kung talagang i-evaluate mo, hindi naman talaga magpe-perform yan kung gagawin mo kaagad siyang mentor, baka ang tamang approach mo little by little na kailangan mo siyang i-reintegrate by giving him tasks that are doable, that would build up yung kanyang that would build up yung kanyang ability to regain yung kanyang motivation as a master teacher. Okay, sir? Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin premise yung iba pang mga like yung sabihin natin na naging mentor lang yun, naging master teacher lang yan because of yung palakasan system or what. Otherwise, distorted na yung natin. Yung reasoning mo mamaya. Okay, sir?
Okay po, sir. Okay po. Okay po salamat sa idea. Thank you po,
okay, sir. Alright. May iba pa pong katanungan kayo? May clarification pa po ba tayo? Okay, it's 11:42. And again, I would like to remind everyone that our next session will be on January 29. That will be MAC number 2. Ang batch 1 po, malapit-lapit na po kayo na matapos. 4 na sessions na lang po ang naiiwan para po sa 4 remaining MAC. Pero itong batch 1 batch 2 ay meron pa po kaming meeting na kailangan na tapusin namin yung remaining na additional 4 sessions pa. On top of the MAC ay meron pang additional na 4 sessions. That will be for batch number 2. However, in-extend nga pa rin natin yung session sa mga batch 1 para po makapag-recall po kayo ng mga concepts. And hopefully, sa mga susunod na mga sessions natin ay medyo tumaas-taas na po yung performance natin, especially for batch number 1. Okay po? Kung wala lang, yes, Ma'am Mariano. Go ahead po.
Hindi kami naka-attend. Ilan kami hindi naka-attend nung mock test last Saturday.
Opo.
Namin maano yan.
Naitanong na yung tanong eh.
Yes ma'am. Anong tanong doon?
Sa 29 ba, mag-exam kami nung minak test nung 7 na naka-attend nung last Saturday?
Hindi ma'am, Mac 2 na rin po kayo. Bibigyan na lang natin ng special kasi gusto kong makita, hindi ko pwedeng ibigay yung Mac 1 na parang kayo lang hanggat maaari. Gusto kong ma-supervise yung Mac ninyo eh. Kasi gusto kong makita yung 3-hour rule ma'am. Na kailangan. Kasi sayang yung Mac kung hindi natin i-simulate yung exam. Kaya nga kailangan may eventually meron pa kayong parang gagawin na session para dito na what? Okay?
Okay, sige po sir.
Okay po, sige ma'am. Pero bibigay ko 'yon na once you'll have your separate meeting para dito.
Sige po sir. Thank
Pero
you.
by January 29, you'll have MAC number 2 na.
Sige po. Thank you po.
Okay. Sige ma'am. Alright, so that's it for the day. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Thank you for coming over and we'll see each other by January 29 po dito sa Greece. So, kung may mga katanungan po kayo sa lugar, andun lang po siya sa harapan ng Asada Center. Kung napunta na po kayo ng BDO network ng Dagupan, nandun lang po sa harapan. So sa kabilang building lang po siya. The Maradel Building, Greystone Institute. Okay po? So with that, maraming salamat and magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you very much po.
Thank you, sir.